people behave very peculiarly in terms of the reactions because they're human beings, and they get excited when others get excited. They get greedy when others get greedy. They get fearful when others get fearful, and they'll continue to do so. And you will see things you won't believe in your lifetime in securities markets. And the country will do very well over time, but you will see these huge waves. And if you can stay objective throughout that, if you can detach yourself temperamentally from the crowd, you get very rich, and you won't have to be very bright. I mean, I'm sure you are, but you want, it doesn't take brains. It takes temperament. It takes the ability to sit there and look at something. When I started out in 1950, I would go through and find things at 2 times earnings, and they were perfectly decent businesses, and people wanted jobs at those companies, and everybody knew they were going to be around, and they wouldn't buy them at 2 times earnings, and that's when interest rates were 2.5%. I started selling securities when I was 21, and a Kansas City life insurance company happened to be a fairly prominent company in Omaha, and the policies they sold you, if you were buying life insurance from them, had a built-in assumption of 2% interest. The stock of Kansas City Life was selling at less than 3 times earnings. You were getting 35% if you bought the stock. No question about the soundness of the company. I went to the local agent. I figured, hell, I ought to be able to sell him a few shares of stock. I mean, the guy ought to understand it. He's got his whole life invested in this company. I went to the local agent who'd been with him for 20 years. And his name was Moose. I said, Mr. Moose, I said, you're selling these policies with 2%. You may even have a few members of your own family, and you can buy into this company whose paycheck you depend on every month, and whose future your beneficiaries of these life policies depend on, and who you're selling them, a 2% investment on, and you get 35% on your money. And he said, stocks aren't any good. And I couldn't sell the, I was a lousy salesman. I mean, well, you have to start with that, but it just blew me away. It blew me away. I thought, sometimes I used to wonder if I was nuts.